Hello, future engineers, subscribers, viewers, and students. There is a video in Integral Calculus 4, and this is part 1, and we'll take up topics like work done in pumping the water out of the tank from its initial level to its final level, or it may be work done in pumping all the liquid inside the tank to a disposal point of disposal. Or it may be work done by the force in spring. And next, we'll have odd and even functions, techniques of definite integral involving odd and even functions when the lower and upper limits are numerically equal. And lastly, we'll have iterated integrals. So these are the main topics for this part. And we'll have a sample problem for computing the work, and also the sample problems for odd and even functions. So we define or measure work as a product of the force applied to an object or spring and the corresponding distance between the object. So it is force times distance as a whole. It is positive if the force and the distance are in the same direction. Otherwise, work is negative. So by definition, work is force times distance as defined by this equation below. So again, it is positive if the applied force and the direction where the object will be displaced are in the same direction. So that's positive, otherwise negative. So work is force times distance. From B6, the work done in stretching the spring from an initial displacement S sub O to a final displacement S is given by average force times the change in displacement. And the change in displacement is simply the difference between the final displacement and the initial displacement denoted by S sub O. So since from Hooke's law, force is equal to spring constant times the displacement, then the average force therefore is equal to 1/2 of Ks plus 1/2 of quantity uh, Kso plus Ks. So if we factor out K over 2, then it is equal to K over 2 times quantity S plus S sub O. Then the change in displacement, which is S minus SO, multiply. So work therefore is K over 2 times quantity S plus SO times S minus SO, which is, when expanded, it is K over 2 quantity S squared minus SO squared. So that you won't memorize that formula, the idea here is if we have to plot the force and the displacement in a spring, because by Hooke's law we have linear relationship between the force and the displacement, so the graph between the displacement and the force should be straight or straight line. When the displacement is 0, the force is 0, of course, from this Hooke's law here, from this equation. And it is simply, so the work done in stretching the spring from an initial displacement SO to its final displacement is therefore, from this equation here, this is interpreted as the area of the shaded trapezoid between SO and S. or simply this is the area of big triangle minus area of small triangle. So let me explain that. So this is SO, and therefore this force here is KSO. And if this is S, this force here is Ks. So the work done, the work done by the force in stretching the spring from SO to S is represented by the area of this trapezoid. And this trapezoid is area of big triangle. This is the big triangle. The area is 1/2 S times Ks. So it is 1/2 of S times Ks, so 1/2 Ks square. I hope that you can define it from here, from this equation. Then the area of this unshaded uh, region of this right triangle is 1/2 SO times KSO. The height is KSO. And that is K over 2 times SO square. So this equation is geometrically interpreted as this area of this trapezoid, this shaded area here. So I hope you can remember that. Then for practice purposes, I want you to answer this. So a spring with a natural length of 450 mm requires a force of 300 newtons to stretch it by 20 mm. So determine the force required to stretch it so that its length becomes 500 mm. You just apply Hooke's law and you solve for that force. Then the work in joules in stretching the spring from a length of 500 mm to a length of 540 mm. So you use this equation here. You can compute the spring constant because uh, a spring with a natural length of 450 requires a force of 300 newtons to stretch it by 20 mm. So meaning to say force 300 equals K times 20 minus 0 because the natural length of the spring is 450 and it begins with that length. So 0 displacement at the start. So I hope you can answer this problem, practice 1. Then for the case where we have to compute for the work required in pumping out the liquid pumping out liquids from a tank or reservoir. So let's consider the reservoir shown below with a liquid of specific weight gamma in kilonewtons per cubic meter, assuming SI units. So if the location of the center of gravity of the weight of liquid to be disposed is known, then the work required in pumping that certain liquid to certain point of disposal is equal to the weight of that liquid times the distance of its center of gravity to the point of disposal. And that is denoted by D in this figure. So the center of gravity to the point of disposal, or if there is a pump, then it is just work is just weight times distance. So it is revealed here, it is shown here. So for instance, this is the liquid level and this is the tank and the center of gravity is known. So I hope you can locate center of gravity of common solids like paraboloid, cones, right circular cylinder. Of course, there's no need to locate that. And for hemisphere, those are uh, usual tanks that need to be investigated, especially the location of the center of gravity, because the work done in pumping the liquid out of the top or out of the tank, so let's say at this level here, is simply the weight of that liquid to be pumped out times that distance d here, distance between the center of gravity and the point of disposal. Now, how about by integration? So by integration, let's call the height of the tank as small h and the distance from the bottom of the tank to the point of disposal as big H. Then we have to note that weight is specific weight times volume and distance is distance as known there. So if in general the location of the center of gravity of liquid is not readily known, then consider a slab as shown in the figure of area S, and thickness dy. So we have to set up the integral, and because the force should be constant, we have to consider the differential weight of the slab of thickness dy. So let us say this is the slab and the area is area S, constant for that very small change in the height dy, and that's area S. The distance from the bottom of the tank to that level in general is y. So the distance of the centroid of that differential weight or the differential volume is equal to big H minus y to the point of disposal. That's big H minus y. Therefore, since this is differential weight, the differential weight is equal to specific weight of liquid times differential volume. The differential volume is area S dy, just like volume of a slab. No? Differential volume of a slab, area S times dy. So specific weight times differential volume area S dy, of course by integration, that represents the differential weight, and multiply that by the distance to the point of disposal, which is capital big H minus y. So it's big H is assumed to be known here. So by integration, differential work equals differential weight times distance H minus y, since differential weight is specific weight times differential volume, then distance remains quantity H minus y. So differential work therefore is specific weight, and since differential volume is area S times dy, place that, then quantity H minus y. Area S should be a function of y, or it may be constant, so that this resulting expression for differential work can be evaluated by, or can be integrated. So work therefore is equal to, so for example, it is only this part that should be disposed of. So the limit should be from y1 to y2. So work is integral from y1 to y2 of gamma area S quantity H minus y dy. And do not memorize this. This is the general expression. You should be able to set up that integral without memorizing that. It is just integral of differential weight, which is gamma times differential volume, and differential volume is area S times dy, times the distance of the centroid of that differential weight or differential volume to the point of disposal, which is in general here quantity H minus y. So the above expressions represents the work done in pumping the liquid from level y1 to the final level y2. For the above integral to have a value, area S must be expressed as a function of y. And you have to do this second practice problem. I provided you with the answer so that you will be inspired to solve this problem. So practice, and these are the answers. Determine the work done in pumping all the water out of the top of the full tank at its stream level if the tank is a right circular cylinder, a right circular cone, and a hemisphere, the paraboloid of revolution. So those are the answers, and I hope that you can solve these problems both by integration and both by this approach formula, weight times distance, as long as you know the location of the centroid of the liquid inside these different tanks. So let's consider add an even function. We define an add function as 1 when x is replaced by negative x, the function becomes the negative of the original. So that is f of negative x is equal to negative of f of x. Examples of add functions are f of x equals x cubed. So that when you replace x by negative x, it becomes negative x cubed. F of x equals x square root of quantity x squared plus 2. So inside, if you replace x by negative x, the terms inside will remain the same. But this one, when replaced by negative x, it becomes negative x. So that's why f of negative x is equal to the negative of f of x for this case. So this is an add function. Another function, f of x equals sine x times quantity 1 plus cosine x. Remember that cosine x is even. So cosine of negative x is the same as cosine of positive x. Cosine of negative 30 degrees is equal to square root of 3 over 2. So cosine of negative 30 degrees equals cosine of positive 30 degrees. Sine function is add because sine of negative x is negative sine of x. So this is an example of an add functions. So a function is said to be even whenever f of negative x is unchanged. It is still f of x. So example of even functions are as what I said before, cosine x, secant of x. Those are uh, even functions. Then f of x equals x squared square root of quantity x to the fourth minus 4. So this is an even function because whenever x is replaced by negative x, the original function is unaffected. So next is f of t equals t squared cosine of t. T squared is even because negative t quantity square is still t squared, and cosine negative t is remain cosine of positive t. So in fact, this is even t squared. Cosine t is also even. So another example would be f of t equals t squared and f of t equals cosine t. Those are even functions. And lastly, we have f of x equals x cubed times tangent of x. X cubed is an add function. Tangent of x is also an add function. So the product of add functions is an even function. So the result is an even function. So because of that, we have these characteristics that the integral of an add function is equal to the even function of x, then plus the constant if it is an indefinite integral. Then likewise, the integral of even function of x is equal to add function of x plus constant of integration. Now, how about for definite integral? So the integral of an add functions, if the limits are numerically the same except the sign, so for example, negative a to a, because the integral of add function is even, then even function of negative a or positive a minus even function of negative a, they are equal, both positive, but because it is upper minus lower limit minus, so when two values are numerical or equal and the sign between them is negative, then the result is 0. So integral of add function of x dx from negative a to a is automatic 0. So for instance, integral of x cubed from negative 1 to 1 is x to the fourth over 4 from negative 1 to 1. So that would be 1/4 minus 1/4, and that is 0. So that's why it's 0 here. Then if you have integral of even function of x from negative a to a, the result is an add function. You can transform it into 2 times integral, change limits to 0 to a of even function of x dx, and you proceed with that integration. So the only difference here is you double the value and change limits instead from negative a to a, make that 0 to a. So next is the concept or the topic on iterated integrals when the integral involves more than two variables. So in performing iterated integrals, treat the other variables as constant and evaluate the integral of the first variable. So the first the first differential that appears is the variable that should be treated first. So we have triple integration here. In performing the above procedure for the remaining for iterated integrals, treat the other variables as constant and evaluate the integral of the first variable. So for instance, in the above procedure for the remaining two variables, do the above procedure for the remaining two variables until one variable is left. So this is the procedure. So for instance, you have integral of f, which is a function of x, y, z, dx, dy, dz. So we have integral from z1 to z2, y1 to y2, x1 to x2 of functions of x, y, z, dx, dy, dz. So that gives us the idea that x should be treated the variable first. So after treating x as the only variable here, y and z constant, then we have integral from z1 to z2, integral from y1 to y2. The remaining function will be function of y and z, and we have dy dz. So next, treat z as constant after the second iteration. So treat z as constant because we have reduced the function to just two variables, and since it is y that is the next variable to be considered, then that means we have to treat z as constant. So after evaluating this function of y and z and we limit y1 to y2, the remaining function would be function of z alone, and there's no other variable except z, then you can evaluate the remaining integral. So that's the idea for this iterated integrals. So for the first problems for solution, the first one came out in May 2012 CE Civil Engineer Licensure Exam. So find the work done in Newton meter in pumping all the water out to the top of a full conical tank 10 centimeters across the top and 20 centimeters high. So I'll solve this first by integration, and then the second solution would be from the direct formula, work equals weight of liquid to be disposed or to be pumped out, then times distance from the center of gravity to the point of disposal, or D in the formula in the concept mentioned earlier. So let's focus first to problem 1. This is the tank. It is full of water, and let us say this is the level at any time. The distance from the vertex to that level is y, and the thickness of that differential volume, this is dy. Then of course the centroid is also at that level there. The point of disposal is the top of the tank. So if this is y and the height of the tank is 0.2 meter, 20 cm, then that distance would be 0.2 minus y. And the radius of the tank is 0.05 meter. So work therefore is integral of from 0 to 0.2. Then we have specific weight of water because the unit should be in Newton meter. So 9,810 newtons per cubic meter. The differential volume is pi x squared times dy, and the point the distance of that differential element, its center of gravity to the point of disposal is 0.2 minus y. So work therefore is integral from 0 to 0.2 of 9,810 pi x squared dy, the volume, differential volume of that slab or of that disc, then times distance where each centroid should be thrown to the top level, 0.2 minus y. So we express x in terms of y by similar triangles. So x as to y equals 0.05 as to 0.2. So that means so x is y over 4, and x squared, because this is squared here, is y squared over 16. Substitute into this formula, putting the constants before the integral sign, so 9810 pi integral from 0 to 0.2 of x squared, which is y squared over 16 times quantity 0.2 minus y dy. So I perform the integration. Actually, after setting up this formula here, you can use your calculator if you want, but I just want to present the manual way, basic way of integration without the calculator, because there may be viewers of this video where they are not allowed to use the calculator because they are still first year students or second year students. Not allowed. So, or even high school students who are preparing for their engineering life in the future. So 9810 over 16, the integral of the first is 0.2 y cube over 3. The integral of the second, because this is negative y cube, is y to the fourth over 4 from 0 to 0.2. So 9810 pi over 16 quantity 0.2 y cube over 3 minus y to the fourth over 4 from 0 to 0.2. Substituting the value of y, upper limit 0.2, then minus 0 for the lower limits because each term has y in the expression. So that means lower limit is 0. Then you use your calculator, 9810 pi over 16 times quantity 0.2 to the fourth over 3 minus 0.2 to the fourth over 4, and that gives us 0.2568 Newton meter or joule. Then for the direct way, work is equal to weight times distance, and we know that the center of gravity of this cone from the base is, from the point of disposal, top of the tank, is 1/4 of the height, so 1/4 of 0.2. 3/4 of the height from the vertex, but from the point of disposal, which is the top level, which coincides with the base that is inverted. So work is weight. Weight is 9,810. Specific weight of water, newtons per cubic meter, times volume of cone, which is pi 0.05 square times height 0.3. Then point of disposal 0.2 over 4 or 0.05. So 9810, volume of cone, pi over 3 radius square times height 0.2. That's the weight of water inside that conical tank. Then times this distance from center of gravity or centroid of the cone, solid cone, to the base, which is 1/4 of its height. So calculating, it's also the same 0.2568 Newton meter. Then for problem 2, for this integral here, integral of x cubed square root of a squared minus x to the fourth dx. Same limits, negative a to a. And if you study that function, this is an odd function. Therefore, the integral would be 0. So even if you do not know the technique, you are not detecting that this is an odd function. As long as your calculator is allowed, then you will get the same answer of 0. So my suggestion is, for example, this is negative a to a. So we imagine that a is let us say 2. So this is negative 2 to 2. Then this is 4 minus x squared. So alpha x, integral of alpha x cubed, square root of 4 minus alpha x to the fourth. From negative 2 to positive 2, you will get 0. For number 3, this is an even function because t square is an even function. When you replace t by negative t, it remains integral of quantity 1 minus t square over 4 close square. So I'll expand this. I change this to 2 times integral 0 to 2. And the first term is 1. The second term is twice this product, which is negative t squared over 2. And the last term is the square of the second term. The square is t to the fourth over 16. So that would be 2 integral from 0 to 2 of quantity 1 minus t squared over 2 plus t to the fourth over 16 after expanding that by that binomial, square of that binomial. So this is 2 quantity t minus t cubed over 6 plus t to the 5 over 5 times 16, 80. And limit 0 to 2. So that's 2 quantity 2 minus 2 cubed over 6 is 4 thirds. And 2 to the 5th, 32 over 80 is 2 fifths minus lower limit 0. So that's 2 times quantity 2 minus 4 thirds plus 2 fifths minus 0. And that is 32 over 15. You can also evaluate this using the calculator for those who are preparing for the board exam. Your calculator is allowed and your calculator can evaluate definite integral. You can even evaluate indefinite integral by guessing the answer. If there is an indefinite integral, then we can still check our answers because of the availability of the high-tech calculator. But for those who are taking the board exam, you can use that calculator. And for this last problem, problem 4 for this part 1. Alright, circular cylindrical tank with a depth of 10 meters and a radius of 5 meters is half filled with water. Find the work necessary to pump all the water to a distance 2 meters above the top of the tank. So I'll present two solutions again. First is by integration, second is by the shortcut way. So this is the level at any time, and this is a circular plate or disc. The differential volume is pi radius, which is constant 5 square, thickness dy. Multiply that by specific weight of water, 9.81 times pi x squared dy, and that becomes pi 5 squared dy rather, and that is the differential weight to be disposed to a level 2 meters above the top of the tank. So if we denote this as y, then the distance of the centroid of this differential element to the point of disposal would be 12 minus y. Why 12 minus y? The height of the tank is 10 plus 2, that's 12. And because this is y, so that distance would be 12 minus y. So by integration, work is equal to from 0 to 5. The depth of water is only 5 meters, so limits would be 0 to 5. And all the water should be disposed of. So that's why the limit should be 0 to 5. So integral from 0 to 5 of differential weight is specific weight of water, 9.81 times differential volume pi times 5 squared dy, and distance to the point of disposal 12 minus y. So work is integral 0 to 5, 9.81 pi 5 squared dy times 12 minus y. Rearranging, that's 9.81 pi times 25. Then the integral would be 12y minus y squared over 2 from 0 to 5. So substituting, that's 9.81 pi times 25 times quantity 12 times 5 minus y squared over 2. 5 squared over 2. So this is 60 minus 12.5, and that is 47.5. Then times 9.81 times pi times 25 using your calculator, work is equal to 36,598 kilonewton meter. For the shortcut, work is weight times distance. The weight is specific weight of water, 9.81 kilonewtons per cubic meter. Then the volume is pi radius square 5 square times height or depth 5. And the distance of the centroid of this 5-meter deep water in the cylindrical tank is 9.5. So 9.5 is equal to 2 plus 10, 12, minus half of 5, which is 2.5, and that's 9.5. Work therefore is 9.81 times pi times 5 squared times 5 times 9.5. And calculating, that's also 36,598 kilonewton meters. So that's it for this video.